We thought it was a good marriage, and as we had challenges, we really just kind of swept them under the rug.
We really were just headed towards a breakdown without even knowing it.
What led us to the workshop was I found myself in a limerent affair.
When I found out about the affair, it was the biggest shock I could have ever heard. Just never saw anything coming. I just remember feeling in those first days like, what has been real? I was so terrified that I was losing my life, losing my family. Marriage Helper was that last chance. Hey, 77% success rate. There's a glimmer of hope here. If we can just do this, maybe this will work.
I felt like I was forced to be there, and I did not want to be there. I felt like this was all going to be about trying to fix me and help me to see where my errors were. The workshop really is not about your marriage. It is going to be more about you and your personal growth. You know, even if you think, oh, well, I don't want to go because I don't want to work on my marriage, this is going to be life-changing, whether you want to remain in your marriage or not.
I remember that car ride home from the workshop and like having a notepad out and being so excited. We're gonna have a new marriage, you know, we're gonna have date nights, and we were just like planning it all out.
We had a lot of hope when we left the workshop. We really felt like we could do this, but we also had a lot of outside pressure because we were supposed to look like a certain thing in public. And so that outside pressure really hurt us in a lot of ways. And so we ended up divorcing, actually. I still remained in that relationship once we divorced. And I definitely wasn't proud of this relationship. So I kept that relationship hidden, but I still kind of held on to it.
When we divorced, everything really did die for me. All hope, any kind of reconciliation, like to my mind, at that point, it was over. That was really the point also that I started going through my own personal hell. I had a terrible pornography addiction in those days and those months, alcoholism, just really off the rails. It wasn't until we had separated and like we're just forced to only think about ourselves. That's when those Marriage Helper principles came back in and really did some hard work. I just was looking at myself and really wanting a lot better for myself. And then I started running and eating better. And just those two little things, like my life started to get back on track.
As you know, he was hurting me or as I was hurting him, we were so focused on the wrong that I was causing or that he was causing. But I wasn't focused on just me and taking care of me. Throughout working on my pies, I realized how unhealthy my LO was, and the healthier that I got for me, the less attractive the LO was. When you're in limerence, you're kind of in a fog and you just don't see reality the way it is. When reality started coming back, I started realizing Jordan wasn't really the bad guy that I thought he was. We had really had fun times in our marriage, and that we had a lot of good times, and that we truly loved each other. And I had just dismissed all of that and made it such a lie in my mind that was even truth. When I finally was able, like I was bold enough to say to the LO, no more relationship, 5 days later, I found out that I was pregnant. It was devastating. I just felt like that destroyed any hope that I had of reconciling. But it was also, I believe, what brought me so much humility that gave me the courage to reach out to Jordan. I actually called him just to tell him, hey, just out of respect, I don't want you to hear it from anyone else, but I'm pregnant.
To my mind, it's like, okay, like, is that a good thing? Like, were you guys trying? It was cut off from me.
And I said, well, do you want to hear my heart, or do you just want to leave it at that? So I had no expectation that he would accept me back, but it was when he said, yeah, sure, I'll hear your heart, that we were able to talk.
And that night, like, we talked for 3 hours on the phone. It was so miraculous. The workshop really hit at a deeper level than I really even recognized at first.
All the marriage helper principles just kind of flooded back into our minds and into our actions, because he was the absolute safest place that I could have gone to share this news. And he really did listen to my heart, and he was able to say what he thought and felt, and I was able to listen to his heart. And so it was just a beautiful conversation. That was the beginning of reconciliation.
Long story short, when the LO found out that we were getting back together, he just kind of disappeared out of the scene. We might have received 1 or 2 texts from him after that point. 8 months later, my name was going on the birth certificate. The rest is history. She was a daddy's girl in every sense of the word from the first day. And of course there were fears, like, are we gonna connect? What's the future gonna look like? But like, every single fear was laid down, and that's been a miracle. Like, we went to another workshop right after we reconciled, and they kept on saying, look, you come back 3 times, we'll put you to work. And that sounded really cool to us. And so we started just doing a little bit more and a little bit more with Marriage Helper. Marriage is marriage. We continue to work through things as a married couple, but there's so much more freedom today, so much more hope and faith in our marriage today. It's remarkable.
Yeah. It's funny because, like he said, marriage is marriage. So we do have struggles or challenges, however you want to word that. But the difference is just the respect and the love that we feel as we're working through those challenges this time. Our marriage this time is just, we wouldn't trade it. We wouldn't trade it. You know, as much as we would not want to go through what we went through again, we wouldn't go back. We would not go back to our first marriage.
Fear and doubt and suspicion has a way in crisis of just totally clouding and keeping us from seeing what's on the other side. Look at the results. Look at what Marriage Helper does. You know, look at that 77%, and just maybe open your heart to think, maybe there's something there that I won't see until I get there, that I can't see now. We're dealers of hope at Marriage Helper, and you know that's the biggest thing is just look, there is hope. There is hope for you. I know you might feel like all hope is gone, but there is always hope.